All right, hey, I'm really glad you decided to click on this video today because it's super important. Quick reality check: if you're thinking about selling your home, almost 40% of homes that are hitting the market right now are not selling. Okay, we know it's a buyer's market. Listen, they're not selling not because they're bad homes, but because they're positioned wrong. We're doing the wrong things. Your agent is making the wrong moves, okay? Then the worst part, sellers don't even realize why. They don't understand. So in this video, we're gonna show you exactly how to sell your home faster for more money, with less stress, all things everybody want, and avoid the mistakes that we see every single week here in New Smyrna Beach. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas like Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach Shores, Ponce Inlet, Port Orange, and Edgewater, then you have come to the right place. My name is Matt Ecoff. It's my beautiful wife, Rachel Ecoff. We are local real estate experts. We're here to share everything from the best neighborhoods to the hottest spots around town. Listen, we get phone calls, emails, text messages, and Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas and real estate really in general, which is what we're talking about today. All right, so part one, the truth about why homes don't sell. Okay, here's what most people think: if my home doesn't sell, it must just be the market. It can never be the home, right? It can never be. People can never look in the mirror and say it's not. It's got to be something else, not than that. Yes. Okay. Look, that's almost never the case, because price and how you present the house sells everything. Okay. In reality, it comes down to 5 major things.
All right.
Okay. Number one, easy, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts, price.
I love that you said that, because we are reminded every single week that price fixes everything. Everything. Some of the things you would never think in a million years would sell, if they're priced right, there's a buyer waiting for that. For sure.
Then there's other things that you think will sell right away. I'm going to give a perfect example: 1422 North Atlantic Avenue, upstairs, overlook the ocean, private walkway across the beach, secluded, North Beach, long-term rental, everything you think that you would want. It's listed too high. It's my listing. It started at 1.4. It's down to 1,199,000, and it is overpriced. And I've told my seller it's overpriced, and they don't want to listen. And so we've been on the market for 422 days today.
Ouch.
Yeah, I average 73 days on market from start to finish. From the day we list to the day that we're sold, I average 73 days, and this was 422 because it's overpriced. It's not that it's not a great home, it's just overpriced. We get views all the time. We get requests for showings, at least once or twice a week for all 422 days. I don't know exactly how many weeks that is. I get 60 or 70 weeks, something like that.
And the main complaint is this just is a little bit too much.
It's just too priced. We're going to get to something else too, which will touch base on this. But number 2 reasons things don't sell is the condition. It could be dirty, cluttered, stains, light bulb. We walked into these houses before too. You're like, what are you doing?
So let's talk about the most recent one. And it was immediately, we're walking, we saw several homes that day. It was the second home of the day. What happened? We walked in the door and it was an immediate no. Immediate no. You can't look past how dirty and cluttered the home was. They couldn't see themselves in it. It was an immediate no, not because it was a bad home, because it was really a great house. The buyers couldn't see themselves in it because of all the stuff that was there.
Yep. All right, so number 1, price. Number 2, condition. Number 3 is presentation. So let's talk about, I think that same day, the 10th Avenue house that we walked into had some renovations and stuff, but super cluttered in the house. TV was running. All their looked like whatever they were making for dinner was all out on the counter. It had a smell that somebody had just cooked. You got a gym in one room, you got tools and cluttered in another room. You can't even see anything. It's just like you're trying to sell this house. What is the presentation? What are you thinking in your head that the presentation looks like this? So number 3 is presentation. Number 4 is the strategy. If X showings within 30 days and we drop to this, so it's like having this strategy. If we don't see this much action in this period of time, we call those KPIs, key performance indicators. So like if we don't have at least this many showings by this period of time, then we're going to drop to this strategic price, So having that right strategy. And then honestly, at the end of the day, number 5 is having the agent guiding it, making sure that you have an agent that knows what they're doing and is guiding this process, because this is not a simple put it on Zillow, put it on Realtor, put it on Redfin, put it on Homes.com, and let it sit there. There is strategy that goes behind this. There's key targeting, knowing what you're doing, and these are all really, really important things.
And I think also, to add to an agent guiding it, it's really important, depending on your market and where you are, that you have somebody who's local representing you. And that's not against any, but we have a lot of like people from Orlando that are trying to sell homes in New Smyrna Beach, and there's nothing against that, but they don't know the area the same.
And they can really
so it's not marketed.
They can put you in they can lead you in the wrong direction. If somebody was to sell something in North Beach and somebody's looking for an investment property, but then you can't do Airbnb or VRBO here, then that agent has screwed that person. So a local agent is important. And listen, pre-qualifying those agents, you can reach out to me, you call, email, text message, Zoom invite, whatever you want, whether it's moving here or moving to another area. I can help you find that agent. I have agents all around the country that I work with. I can pre-qualify them, pre-screen them, make sure that they know what they're doing, and walk along the process with them while they're trying to sell your house.
And are specific to your market as well.
Yes. So again, 5 things: price, condition, presentation, strategy, and the agent guiding it right. So if even one of those things are off, the home sits on the market. All right, so part 2 is going to be the, let's call it, make more money mindset. Okay. One thing that we see here all the time in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas is that sellers say, I don't want to put money into the house before I sell it. Okay. And we get it. But listen, here's the truth. Small improvements equal really big returns. We've seen sellers spend $3,000 to $5,000 and end up making $15,000 to $30,000 more. And look, I'm never going to tell you to go into debt. In fact, if you're buying or selling, if you're selling, you're probably getting ready to buy something else. So, making sure that, car payments are on time and debt is paid down. I'm never going to tell you that, but don't hesitate on going for a HELOC. Don't hesitate for going for a home equity line of credit. These are designed to increase the value of your home. So if you need to borrow $30,000 and it's going to take you 3 to 6 weeks to get a HELOC from your local lender or even your local bank, to get a $30,000 HELOC and then put $30,000 into your house that might produce $90,000, you've just netted positive $60,000 by borrowing money against your house. That is not a big deal, guys. That is not, I am against debt. We're against debt in our family, but a HELOC is extremely advantageous in a scenario where you're thinking about, I should spend a little bit of money to make this
talk about that. We have another video on renovations, what to do, what not to do, kind of thing. And I think really what you're trying to get across is, hey, do things like paint, do things like fresh carpet, not major overhauls. We're not talking about taking money out to like redo the whole home.
Because look, at the end of the day, when you sell the house, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. So you have that money there available to use right now. It doesn't have to go against your budget, going forward. Like, hey, I got to save up $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 to do this project. Do the home equity line of credit. It's just a smart thing to do. And I'm telling you, the returns will be absolutely high. And make sure that you go back to watching some of those videos on your renovation mistakes to make or the things with the top ROI, because we have both of those videos. All right, so part 3 is clean equals cash. Now let me explain this a little bit more. If you take nothing else from this video, take this: the cleanest homes always win. Always. Not the biggest, not always the cheapest, the cleanest. Hands down, this works all the time. Now we're talking about baseboards wiped. We're talking about fans cleaned and the dust cleaned off of them. And the fan blades tightened up. Those freaking things that are hanging way down that haven't been tightened up. And this is a freaking screwdriver. Give me a break. Call a handyman if you can't do it and pay him $25 to do this. Ridiculous. So baseboards wiped, fans cleaned, no clutter around the house, no smells. No smells. 905 North Peninsula. Every time we walk in there, it's phenomenal. And one time we walked in there and she's putting new air fresheners around the house. Now the house is already an amazing home for $1.65 million. My listing,
you know what? It's clean, it's decluttered, it's ready to go. It always smells amazing. Crazy that it hasn't moved just yet. I know that somebody's coming for that house.
It's just this Iran situation right now. We're filming this video in May of 2026, so the market's a little bit slow right now because of the Iran thing, but that'll be over at some point. This house is a phenomenal house. But look, it's clean. The baseboards are wiped. The fans are clean. There's no clutter. There's no smells, which equals no distractions. And that's what people like, because buyers are walking in thinking, what do I have to fix? That's what they're walking into when they see these things.
Yeah.
And if the answer feels like a lot, like, what do I have to fix? And then the person's like, a lot, they're moving on.
Or even if they're not moving on, they're gonna lowball you because they have in their mind, man, I got all these things I gotta fix.
For sure. Part 4 is first impressions. This one's huge. We've talked about this one before. Most homeowners completely miss this when they're thinking about listing. Your front door is the first showing. Front door is the first showing, not the photos, not the kitchen, the front door. So fresh paint, new hardware, clean entry, new doorknob or just a doorknob,
Yeah, that did
or
happen
just
to
a
us
doorknob,
once.
where we went to a house and there was
There
no
was no
front
doorknob.
doorknob. So make sure you have a doorknob
I
and
have
make
one.
sure the landscaping up front is dialed in. This is so easy. This is sweat equity if you can do it yourself, or you can hire some people around town or Home Depot.
Even like some nice potted plants by the front door just to dress it up. If you have a kind of boring entryway, which some homes do, you know, the
Yeah.
inside of your house is amazing, but you kind of have nothing going on in the front. Spruce it up a little bit.
Yep.
That's not hard.
And landscaping has the highest ROI of anything else. It's 100%. So you know, you put in $2, you make $4. You know, you put in $1,000, you make $2. So the landscaping needs to be dialed in, because if the outside feels off at all, buyers walk in already skeptical. Okay, so part number 5. This is a big one too, and this is something that if you don't have a seasoned agent, they're not going to do. I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't have a successful real estate agent, somebody that's transacting at least 15 times a year, okay, I'm sorry for real estate agents that follow this and you're not doing 15 times a year, but look, I play a lot of tennis. I played a lot of tennis today. If I'm getting ready to have a really big tournament, like a really big event, and I'm like, hey, how often do you play tennis? And like 3 times a year, 5 times a year, even 10 times a year, they are not a tennis player. They're an amateur. Okay, they're a poser. I'm sorry again. Hey, if this makes you mad, I'm sorry. But make sure this is an experienced agent, and this is what they skip. So part 5 is photos are everything, and agents that aren't zoned in and dialed in and don't have the budget to spend $1,000 to $1,500 on photos are not agents that you want. You got to find out how much to spend on these things, or they're taking it with their iPhone. That is no bueno, because this is the first thing. Because before anyone steps inside the home, you got to get them to the home.
Yeah.
And they've already judged it online. So if the photos are dark, if they're cluttered, if they're outdated, if they're crooked, if they don't do the house justice.
And I think you can really tell, like, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching have seen photos online of a home. You see really nice, crystal clear, high definition photos. We pay people to go take those photos because I'm not a photographer. But then I can see that some other agents have maybe skimped in those areas and it looks like they took it on their iPhone or on a digital camera and it's kind of grainy, it's kind of fuzzy.
It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because like they're going to make a good commission on the sale of this, and they should know that they're going to sell it. Otherwise, why take the listing? You know, it doesn't make sense. So skimping on the photos is not good, because the point is to get people in the door, but they're never going to show up at the door if the pictures look like crap.
Yeah, because as soon as you see that, you go, oh, this house probably doesn't look even that good.
Yeah, I mean, we've literally had listings that all we did was change the photos and the home sold. I'll give you a perfect example. 610 Muir Court in Venetian Bay. Another agent had this. The other agent had it for 6 months at $979,000. Won't say the agent's name. He has it for $979,000. He had it for 6 months. No action. This guy meets his neighbor, which plays tennis with me, and they're like, hey, Matt's really, really good. He comes to me and he says, I know that relisting is kind of dangerous sometimes, especially if it's new, but I know that the main thing is you want to get new pictures, new description, and do a new price. I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? Because he was at $979 for a long time. He's like, how about $989?
Oh, he wanted more.
Okay, it didn't sell for 6 months at $979, but okay. But I zoned in on the pictures, zoned in on the photography, did roof drone, did video through the house, and he had really, really dark walls in the entire house. His last name was Italian. He lives in Portofino Reserve in Venetian Bay, you know, and he's got really dark, I mean, expensive paint, but he doesn't want to change it. But I did some Photoshop and made the walls white, and I also brought in a painting quote on how much it would cost to repaint all this, because people were saying, and you know what? I sold for, we ended up selling for $980,000, but we ended up listing for $989, sold for $980 in less than 3 months, so $1,000 more than the original listing in a shorter period of time, just for making sure that the photos were right. So do not discount this. We have real world examples that this works. So photos are everything is part number 5. So part number 6 is the stuff sellers don't want to hear from buyers. Okay.
From buyers.
So let's be real for a second. Pets. People are either getting distracted or they're completely uncomfortable.
Are you talking about pets in the home while you're showing it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear from the buyer, it smelled weird, because a smell is emotional. They will walk out on a smell. We've had people walk out on a smell. They walked in and something smells. You don't notice your house smell. You don't notice your house smell, but buyers do instantly. And then being home during showings, it kills deals. I've done this before. Look,
don't be home during
I did this with Fred and Suzanne, and we were looking at houses, and I call the agent and I'm like, hey, I'm in front of the address, but I don't think this is right because there are 5 people sitting outside on the deck, and there's dogs running around, and there's a fence area, and he's like, oh, they didn't leave? And I'm like, nope. And I'm like, are you sure this is the right address? He's like, yeah, they're there. Just go ahead and just show it. I'm like, oh my God. It's the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And you know what they did? They walked in and out cooking meals, letting their dogs run around as we're looking at this house. It was like my buyers were, Fred and Suzanne were very polite, but they could have just been real and like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And they could have just walked out. But when we left, they did. They said, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think in reality, if you have a medical reason you can't leave the house, I think most people are very gracious and are understanding. But if you have the ability to leave while a buyer is coming to see a property that you have for sale, just leave for a couple hours. It's in your best interest, because a buyer feels like they can't speak openly, they can't be honest, and they can't really spend the time that they need at your home either to look around and envision themselves in this home, because they feel rushed. Like, even though you're saying, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it, I would feel personally like, oh, I really want to get out of this person's space.
Plus people are going to, people are going to see 5, 6, maybe 7 houses in the day, and if they can't speak freely about the house that they're at, then they're going to forget about it.
They're mentally already on to the next because they feel uncomfortable right off the bat.
Yep. So part 6 is the stuff sellers don't want to hear from the buyers. Part number 7. This is a big one. Closing cost strategy. Now this is underrated. Okay, here's something that most sellers misunderstand. When you help with closing costs, it's a huge deal. You're not losing money. Okay, you're negotiating your net. So for an example, let's say that you sell a $300,000 home and you give $10,000 in credit at closing. That's the same as selling for $290,000. That is a good deal. Rather than reducing your price by $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get that sale, offer that seller's credit up front. It is huge. But when you do this, when you're offering seller's credit, when you're offering credit at closing, towards closing costs or for whatever, you're opening the door to way more buyers. I'm going to talk about a perfect example. Okay. We went under contract last night at 9:48 p.m. with Andrew and Gabby. We have
elated. I am so happy for them.
This one I worked my tail off for. This one, if I wasn't already bald, which I'm not, I shaved my head. Let's be clear to the audience. This is not bald. This is by design. This is by design. But if I didn't shave my head, I would have lost all my hair. This one was a hard one. But here's the deal. The house was listed for $565,000. They had a budget of $550,000, but $550 for a $565 house that's been on the market for a while is too much of a high offer. So we offered the full asking of $550, but we asked for $10,000 in seller's credit at closing to help them make some small renovations and to help cover some closing costs. And it's what got the deal done.
It is.
It's what got the deal done. But here's the thing, though. I even had to overly explain this to you and the listing agent, because at first you didn't understand what I was saying until I actually spelled everything out. And if you don't have an agent that doesn't know what they're doing, then they don't know how to do this option. So you eliminate all the people that this could be attractive for. So this is the whole point of this, is to make sure, whether it's here in coastal Volusia County with me or it's somewhere else that you need me to pre-qualify, that I talk through these things with these agents, because this is something that you're missing out on thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in your area specifically if you're not doing these correct things. So offering the seller credit, the closing cost strategy, super important.
It is like one of those shiny stars, and somebody's gonna go, ooh, I like that deal. Let's go look at that one.
Or it might be that we're not ready to move quite yet. We're gonna have to rent for a little while. But if you offer $10,000 in seller credit, then now they're able to pay their rent on their last place with the mortgage on the upcoming place. They're able to cover that for a month.
There's a lot of reasons.
There's tons of reasons. It's just something that agents don't talk about because they don't freaking know about it. All right, part number 8 is, again, this is for sellers. In my opinion, and this is going to be debated, and I might get the most comments that I've ever gotten on any video for saying this specifically. Part 8, in my opinion, huge mistake, writing the contract as is. When the seller says, let's just sell it as is, the buyer hears, something's wrong with this house. What is it? Why are they selling it as is? Even if nothing is, that's what the buyer's thinking.
That's what they hear.
And this leads to fewer showings, lower offers, and more negotiation.
So they're gonna get that inspector out there and like be really honing in on like every little thing, because they're like, what is that?
Why is this as is? Why is this like as is? So you might agree with me, you might disagree with me, excuse me, and I probably got more people that disagree with me than agree with me, but I'm telling you, huge mistake. Part number 8 is selling as is.
Okay.
All right, we're almost done here because we're doing 10 parts. This is part number 9. This is coastal Volusia County reality. Okay, here's where this really matters locally. In areas like New Smyrna Beach, Ponce Inlet, Ormond Beach, you're not just competing on price. You're competing on lifestyle. We've talked about this in other videos a lot. You're competing on lifestyle when you're living the beachside. So the homes that show better, feel better, photograph better, win every single time.
And you've already set them up for success with your other bullet points.
With all the other bullet points.
So if you
How about that? I'm pretty good at this.
You're pretty good at it. So if you take some of those advices, your home is a winner and is going to be gone faster.
That's segment number 10, part number 10. So our final strategy here. Okay, if you want to sell fast for top dollar right now, do these things. Clean like it's a model home. Fix the obvious stuff.
Agreed.
Make it feel fresh, smell fresh. Price it strategically, not emotionally. I say this all the time. If you've ever spent any time with me or watched any of my videos, nobody thinks their kid is ugly. And the longer they've lived in that house and the more renovations they've done to that house, the more they think their kid is the prettiest kid around. But the fact is, they're not all pretty kids. Okay, and there are some that aren't as pretty as they think that they are. So price it strategically, not emotionally.
Yes.
And make it easy for buyers to say yes.
Yes, make it easy for them to say yes by doing all of the things that you said. And to just touch on a second about not emotionally. A lot of people are selling your home, especially if you've lived in it for a very long time, is an emotional process. So there's no getting around that. But
you know what?
But you also have to remember you're making a business transaction, and business doesn't have emotion.
Business doesn't have emotion, but also the sellers do have emotion with selling their house, but the buyers have emotion buying the house.
That's true.
They feel it. We've had people that have walked into a house and started crying. Yep. Immediately. They felt the house. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the sellers feeling emotional, it's the buyers feeling emotional too. But like Rachel said, this is a business transaction. We have to treat it as such. Not that we won't be there, to be there, for you emotionally, because that's important to us, but this is a business transaction, and netting the most dollars or getting the best deal is
that's what you work for. That's why you're here. You're
yes.
here to work for them. You want to get the best deal for your sellers and or buyers, and that part is not emotional. Yep. We are not emotional when it comes to dealing.
100%. 100%. All right, so listen, if you're ever thinking about selling your home here in coastal Volusia County, I was getting to it.
Okay.
Then I want you to reach out. We will walk you through what's worth fixing, what's not worth fixing, and what the home would realistically sell for. No pressure, just give us a call. And even if you're not in our area, I still want you to reach out, okay? Because we'll connect you with top agents in your market, make sure you're taken care of, they help guide you through the process, and make sure they're pre-qualified to go through some of these things that I've already talked about.
Absolutely.
Things like buyer's credit and making sure the photography is right and all that kind of stuff. Look, we do get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people like you wanting to move to the beach. So I'm going to name some scenarios. Today is a Thursday. So whether it's Monday, where I closed with the deal, whether if it's Friday right before this Monday, which we closed on a deal, whether it was the Friday before that we just closed on a deal, all from people that watch our videos, reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. We do pick up our phone. I actually pick up my phone. I actually am on the Zoom when you call. I'm actually the one that responds to your email or your comments. So call, text, email, because we get phone calls and text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you. So it's 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to help you move to the beach. Until next time, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.